All right, and we are here. We back. I look different, of course. Thank you. I told Meals this is the second year in a row that on one video you will see me looking like one thing, and on another video you will see me looking like another thing. So
God forbid we wear the same thing every video. We would look fucking disgusting.
But we're back on the A Show WrestleMania 40 prediction super show. I am Justin, again here with Meals, and we have a special guest. It's only right. He's actually a new member to our Discord. And the moment that he got there, I said, have I made a mistake? Because he was really on his bullshit immediately. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, the hell's up?
Immediately when he got there, of course, our guy, Eddie, fans. What's good, man? Thank you so much for being on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. We always get some good conversation when you're on the show.
Annual tradition right now for the WrestleMania show. Nah, you know, it was funny in the Discord. Like, people were kind of just like, they knew who I was, so they're just letting me be an idiot. And then it was you that was in there, like, challenging all the thoughts and shit. It was like, yo, quit playing. I'm like, yo. It was just like right when Rock showed back up. I'm like, nah, this is great. You're like, shut the fuck up.
This is what people love. I don't care whether it's you, whether it's Josh, whether it's anyone. I'll be like, shut the fuck up. I don't care. Please be quiet. But
nah, you clapped me though, because I'm like, yeah, this is great for like box office. And you're like, yo, the show's been sold out for a year. Shut up. I'm like, fair.
Like, damn, you acting like they didn't sell out SoFi? Roman's name? Like, oh, come on. But
like, all right.
we gotta get to it, and this is really just a main event. The block. We had you on here last year for the blockbuster matches. We have you on here again for the blockbuster matches. It's a tradition at this point. We got to talk about everything that's led us to this point, where now we have 3 super main events on this show. Unprecedented. Never had, like, since I've been alive, never been anything like this in terms of main events. So what we're gonna talk about is The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. We're going to talk about Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, correct, Mills? We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're talking about that, with how CM Punk plays into that, all types of other stuff like that, man.
And then we're going to talk about the big one. And I got a rant.
I got one too,
big one.
So I'm happy we're here, because I have like a pressing question, and then I have a rant about it. I'm excited for it.
Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 2 also is going to be talked about on here. I don't really know where to start here, Meals.
Start with the tag match. So my thoughts on this is the tag match is actually the main event of the show.
Wow.
And the tag match is to get you to watch the following night. So this is the attraction. And unfortunately, Roman versus Cody is just like, hey, stick around and you're going to see this match as well. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Still a big moment.
No, it's still going to be it's still a major moment, but I feel like Saturday night, that tag match is really like the crux of WrestleMania. Yeah. And they have let you know. I mean, if you thought to be honest with you, it should be probably Cody versus Rock at this point, considering how deep it's gone over the last number of weeks.
Why do you think this? Why has Roman not been allowed to go and dig up something as deep as Rock has? Because Roman could go there. He could have gone there last year. He could have gone there this year. Rock is the only one really getting points off Cody right now, and Roman's just kind of sitting there.
I feel like he's saving it. I don't know.
He was great on McAfee show, and it was just like he almost felt removed from the angle though. Like his point about I didn't have to go to Hollywood. Hollywood came to me. I thought it was great, and that seems to be how he's carrying this whole thing. Like, I brought Big Lil Cuz, and he's gonna handle all this shit, and then you gotta wrestle me at the end of all this. Like, I guess that's the takeaway, but I'm with you. Like, it's definitely become the Rock and Cody show. I think for the better in a weird way,
because Cody's holding his own. A lot of people, and I think again the narrative is this, right? Cody goes to AEW, doesn't really fare very well there. They start booing him at the end. He gets to WWE. He gets a groundswell of support, right? He becomes the biggest babyface, but you still hear the whispers that he's not as good as people are saying that he is, that he really shouldn't have won. He really shouldn't have this status. I think Cody's been holding his own against what many feel is a Hall of Fame level guy in The Rock. They've been going at each other, and it's been electric. Like the stare down they had on Raw 2 weeks ago, where he just stood there and Rock's whispered that in his ear. people were wholly shitting that. They thought that it was a cool moment, and I'm just not seeing that with the other thing. But I guess I want to talk about really the media, the press conference media day thing that happened 2 months ago, where, and again, we still haven't gotten the real conversation or any, like, they've pretty much hand waved what happened.
Well,
about the match.
They did it. If you watch The Rock's 20-minute promo, he explains why he essentially did it. He told him, like, listen, move aside stuff. We'll get back to you all after the fact. And then he was mad because Cody went back on that. So that's like the crux of what he didn't get to explain it because none of his promos managed to make the cutoff time. By 9:59, somebody's supposed to be punching someone in the face or something or other. But he explains it in that entire ordeal of, like, he told him step aside. This is like bigger than him, essentially, in a way. And he's mad that Cody initially agreed, but then Cody goes back on the agreement like a crybaby that he is. And that essentially creates the crux of, like, his villain origin story for The Rock. Who's, to be honest with you, he's doing a better job recently than it was initially.
He wasn't comfortable. He wasn't comfortable. He expected to come back as the returning hero. He expected that Jinder Mahal moment to kind of be what his experience was gonna be back this time, and it didn't happen that way. And I think the pivot was masterful. I still go back to that media day moment where he put the family tree on the PowerPoint slide. I said, "Oh shit, he's turning heel." I said, "Oh, this is the moment that he's turning heel." They realized it, and they flipped it, and then it was like the Memphis thing. The Memphis thing to me, bro, was just
so fourth wall, right? Who pulled the plug? Like, I don't think it was him. Like, I think he needed some convincing. Maybe he needed to hear the crowds. I don't know what. But so it is. And that's got to be the guy in the room he trusts, right? He brings his own writer and producer, but it's got to be Paul that he looks and goes, okay, we were in the trenches. All right.
Because ultimately, I think there's things that if we're gonna get to brass tacks, we're not gonna get in an argument about, like, business shit, because we know how this shit works. So this is a good conversation to have. Because
I will say, though, the fact that they keep mentioning the board, like, I don't know if that's just meant to be this funny little thing, or that's like their little bit of complaining on air.
I think that has more to do with the Seth match, and we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
I think that has more to do with the Seth match. I think that when it comes down to brass tacks, Rock has his things that he's definitely allowed to do that no one else can do. That's cuss, that's bleed, that's whatever the fuck on there. That's the Twitter things. But there are certain things that for sure Paul Levesque has to say yes or no on.
Yeah.
And I think that from the moment that they said, I think that at that moment when he took the match away from Cody, they said, all right, this is our plan A. And if it doesn't go the way that it's supposed to go, this is our plan B. And you're going to give me the book the same way that he probably did with Vince. This is your plan A. If it's not going to work, I got my plan B. The plan A was, I'm pretty sure the plan A was Rock and Roman Reigns. I'm 100% sure of that because of the Vince shit that came out and all that other stuff. When they saw that the reception to the Rock shit was worse than anything about the Vince shit, they say, yeah, we got to go to plan B, because they don't really give a shit about that.
I think it's funny. They're lucky that it's him, because like at the end of the day, this is his family business. He's been very vocal about that, but he really grew up in it and has like that heart of like traditionalism to it all. And so he came to do the job. I think he was going to lose to Roman. He came to do the job. So he knows how to also be a heel. His greatest years were as a heel. I think he's the one celebrity you can bring in here and say, okay, but you're also going to be the bad guy for the celebrity attraction. And he's not even necessarily that, because he's still The Rock, right?
Yeah.
So they got lucky in that sense. There's like, this can still work with you being the bad guy, but you getting loved for even being here.
The conversation has never been, to me, the conversation has never been about his place and how important it is for him to be there. And everyone to listen to the show, I want them to know that, like, I don't care that he is there.
Right.
And a lot of people don't care that he is there, because we know how enormous of a personality that he has, regardless of how we feel about his movies. You know what I'm saying? The issue is that you have swerved into a storyline that largely did not need you and does not need you at the time. And I think that that's what grinded a lot of people's gear. So when they
that's something you sold me on too, by the way. I was like, fuck out of here. Like, but you made sense.
Because essentially, and me and Mills have talked about this on the show, you have a top babyface that will be there weekly, and you have The Rock that will not be there weekly, and he knows he's not going to be there weekly.
He won't be there shortly after, right? Like
he's got to go. He's got to go film.
Yeah. Also, sidebar. To be honest with you, I think if it was Rock Roman, I think The Rock would probably have had to turn heel anyway.
Yes,
because it's just a. I think the thing, even with the Cody stuff, it's kind of like a clash of eras, right?
Yeah.
And people feel more. While The Rock is there, and a lot of people who support The Rock and are big fans, or like fans of, like, you know, yesterday they come in, they're like, oh shit, The Rock's doing the shit. Whereas people kind of like right now, the majority of the fan base I still think are watching right now. I don't think it's like this big thing where 40,000 people are coming in to watch a show that they'd never even seen before. That 40,000 are people that are watching essentially every week that's paying for WrestleMania. And I think they're invested in the Cody story too. Now, there are a couple, they could probably overlap people like The Rock and stuff like that. But I think the difference of eras was so incredibly clear through a lot of even the early Rock promos and stuff like that, because Rock kind of does his Rock stays in the pocket of what he stayed in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Third person, this the city, all that stuff. Yeah.
25 years later, we're not really doing that shit anymore.
Yeah, which is funny, which makes it such a weird contrast. I think the point about the Roman and Rock match is we knew what the story was going to be. He kind of laid it out in the initial call out. It's literally just going to be about who's the head of the table. And I think that I'm with you, Mills. Like, I think that eventually leads to Rock has to play heel, which then turns Roman to a maybe more traditional babyface, and then you lead into the next era of Roman and Rock leaves or whatever. But like, they stumbled into this Cody stuff, and it's now a story where like we kind of don't even know what's going to happen next, and it makes it exciting.
How do you feel like it's a stumble? Or is that just your wording?
Well, because that wasn't the plan from the beginning, right? Like, for all intents and purposes, the plan was Cody to step aside in some way, shape, or form.
I think that something happened in between him winning the Rumble that day and the Vince shit hitting the next day. That they said, "Oh shit, we got it." I think that
from what I heard,
the stumble there is what I believe.
Yeah. From what I heard is that basically, because investors were so upset with kind of the Vince shit, to stay on for WrestleMania, they wanted The Rock on WrestleMania. So The Rock was going to have to be on WrestleMania no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think this is the compromise that we've gotten here to keep to satisfy everyone on the business end of things. To where, because it didn't make any, we argued how much it didn't make sense because Cody won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Literally unprecedented, right? Without major injury for the Royal Rumble winner not to the main event.
Yeah. And pointing at the nigga.
Yeah. And there's a whole thing. He looked back at him and he was like, damn it.
They have reaction shots. It's a popular TikTok of Roman's reaction shot of him like looking around when he wins the match. Because
does the Punk injury, do you guys think that helps derail things too? Right?
Yes. Yeah. I think if in a perfect world, and let's just get it out of the way. In the perfect world, our main events are Seth Punk night 1, Roman Cody night 2. In the perfect world, Vince shit happens, Punk doesn't get injured. I don't know at that point.
I don't think this tag match happens if Punk isn't injured, to be honest with you.
But I don't know where Rock. I absolutely think Cody moves aside if Punk doesn't get injured and the Vince shit still comes out, because it's like a choose your own adventure at this point.
Yeah,
it goes in so many divergent paths that we could be in Earth 15 and you know what I'm saying, Cody's in, you know what I'm saying, and then that leads you to Rock and Roman, and to me that's an easier path to get there because Cody is legitimately injured and there's no one that could have done it, but Cody's not injured. This story's got to end in some way, shape, or form. So to get to the tag match, the one person we haven't talked about a lot here, and the way that these stories have like intertwined, there's two people that we haven't talked about here, and that's Seth Rollins being the one of them. He's in this match. I think Seth has taken a quantum leap to where he is right now from where he was last year. I think that he showed that he can hang. I think that he showed that he can hang on the mic more than anything. He went head up against The Rock and did his big one. I gotta hand it to him. There are a few people who can rise to the occasion, especially in a match between these two enormous stars. And I think Cody and Seth have absolutely done it. Rock is starting to do it. I'm starting to feel like, okay, I'm into it now. And I think that when this tag match happens, and I guess like the question I have for y'all is, what is The Rock doing? How much is he really going to be wrestling in this? Because this is going to be a Donnybrook. This got to be no DQ.
And with those guys, like, I think we're going to see a lot of Seth getting beat up for a long time. Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of Seth in the neutral corner or Seth in their corner getting stomped out. But I don't know what The Rock is gonna do. Like, is he just had to be this brawler that we just saw the other night because he's not running the ropes too much? He's like sweating bullets in promos under those lights. So.
It's tough, like, to really think. The last time we saw The Rock, he technically wrestled like maybe like 6 years ago, but that was like a 3-second match. Yeah. But the last time we really saw him wrestle was like 11 years ago. He's old as hell now. He's big as hell now. Like, I expect him to. This tag match is going to kind of like hide a lot of things, but also I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
That's a bigger question. I feel like Cody Roman's going 40. I feel like this goes a modest 20, 25. They can't risk anybody getting injured before the next.
Not including entrances.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that was my thing. Like, the four of them have to get the big superstar entrance. Now, we can talk about this afterwards, but Seth might not be walking into the ring with his belt, so that's a whole.
He will. He will for this one. This one's on Saturday.
Oh, his
championship match is on Sunday.
It's confirmed. Okay.
Yeah. All of the big and I think it was also confirmed by someone that I believe Rhea Becky is Saturday.
Yeah. Because Becky likes working Saturdays.
Rhea Becky's on Saturday, and I think and EO Bailey's on Sunday. So literally, all of the championship matches are on Sunday. Yeah,
but they're gonna get their superstar entrances like that. I think it's gonna be.
Do we get tag entrances?
Almost an hour of TV time for these guys. Like,
do we get tag entrances? Does Roman and tag entrances? I feel like Cody.
You're using that new Rock theme.
Because if you think about it, Cody and Seth need to have their own singular star entrances.
They probably might dress the same, to be honest with you.
That'd be hard.
That would be dope.
That'd be hard.
That's what I was thinking the entire time. I was like, all right, what they gonna have to convince each other to wear? But
they gotta have Cody with a boa, a little boa on, and
something like that. But I feel like this match, I mean, it doesn't require much of The Rock, but I also think The Rock is good at like hitting certain beats at this point. He's still, I haven't totally like, I don't think he's totally going to be terrible, but maybe that's because I'm like, all right, he's third generation. He's done this for years. This is kind of like his thing in a sense. Like, he's athletic. He's
a lot of faith.
But I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna be bad, but you're looking at three of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Right across the ring. And they're going to protect
him. They're going to protect him. So the stipulation for this match.
Also, it's good that he's bigger than everybody there. I mean, you beating down two small guys. The visual of itself is going to work.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of
him keeping up with them.
I think we'll see a lot of him and Seth because that allows them to play off that dynamic. He'll eventually have to get hands on Cody because that's the whole story. But
yeah,
I think we're gonna see a lot of Rock and Seth until they build to that and they have their moments.
So the stipulation of this, and The Rock's gift to Roman, if you will, is that if Seth and Cody win, there will be no bloodline interference. But if The Rock and Roman win, it is bloodline rules on Sunday. Anything goes. Rock's gonna be there. Solo's gonna be there. Jimmy's gonna be there, whipping ass. I look at this as like the NBA Finals when you lose kind of like your home game and then LeBron goes back and he slaps us in the mouth. We got to do better. We got to get home. We got to get home court back, and we got to win the championship on the next game. I look at this as game 6 in home.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think? Who do y'all think wins? Because what makes the better match? Rock showing up twice in one weekend or Rock showing up one time? Who's winning this match? Meal, go.
You got to do the Gaga. You got to have the Gaga. You got to have, like, I think a lot of them are so intertwined into the story, and I think
the next night.
Yeah. And I think it makes it for a much more notable kind of main event as compared to the previous year. It makes it, or not notable, but it makes it feel different. Yeah. I'm thinking like also the way Rock Brock at WrestleMania was different than Rock Brock at SummerSlam. Like just completely different in the way that you kind of like remember each match. And that's what you kind of have to do in this moment.
You said Rock Brock at Mania?
Sorry, no, I mean Roman Brock and Mania. Roman Brock and Mania and Roman Brock at SummerSlam. Yeah. And how those are two different kind of matches and two stories being told. I think that's what you do for a year, to be honest with you. And also, if Roman is losing, which I'm gonna predict that he is. This is a spoiler.
We're gonna talk
about it. But I think Roman and Rock do need to win here. And yeah, I think Roman and Rock need to. It'll be, to me, even in the best like stories, it would suck if you don't get to see what the fully threat, like the threat fully
realize
through. Yeah, I was like, oh, come on, man. Why would you hang that over her head and not do it? Why would you give me something I can't have? You know what I'm saying?
I'm of the same train of thought. So my caveat is they can still have schmaz the next day, even by saying nobody will come. Like you can turn the ref, you can do whatever. You have a ref bump.
Yep.
I still think in that world, in Earth 99, whatever that is, we still would. But I'm with you. Like you have to have Rock go over as the heel. Like he might even pin Cody. Like
I think,
and that creates its own story.
That's what
you have to have that so you can have the Electric Boogaloo tonight. The night later.
My thought for Rock pinning Cody is you got to have Cody at that press conference night one saying, "I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it." You got to have Cody. You got to have
the end game. Is like if you want Cody to win and to finish the story, right? He has to overcome all to do that. And so he even said the Raw after last year, he told them, "You all get in the ring. I fought all you guys last night anyway. Like whatever." Yeah. Like he literally has to do that again. And like I think it informs to the finish the next day. So I'm with you. Like I think they win here because they need to have that the next day.
And also it's important to pin Cody, I think, to not only set up Rock Cody down the line, which in a week has become kind of your most wanted.
Yeah, it's like your money match.
I think it's a bigger match than Roman and Rock right now, personally, if you want to hear me out.
For sure.
But also so that you take the heat off of Seth again. I was initially saying you want Seth to lose here and take the pin because you want to keep Cody strong. No, you want to put the doubt on Cody as much as possible as well. But you also don't want to pin Seth so that you don't give people the out to keep fucking saying Seth is going to turn on Cody. He's not. It's not going to happen.
It makes no storyline sense for him to turn on him. Like I think I'm with you. Like I think Rock has to pin Cody. They open up so much. And again, this depends on how often they're going to go to the Rock well. But I think they have two great events for him going forward.
Yeah.
If he gives Roman this gift, as you said, but then there's the other tunnel where he then costs Roman in some way on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Now everybody hates The Rock. Then you go to your thing. I had thought from the beginning that's where we were headed. Before there was the tag match, I'm like, he's gonna eventually cost Roman the title. And I think that's kind of shitty though, because you take a little bit away from Cody there.
Let's get to these theories. We're gonna get to these theories when we get to that match.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Like, I think you stack the deck against Cody because that's the story.
Yeah. So we're gonna go away from Cody for a minute. Cody lost. Let's just say he got pinned on Saturday. We're gonna go away from him.
People's elbow.
We talked about this in a previous segment. We're gonna go away from Jimmy and Jay as well, because that match will have happened.
I'm excited for that one.
By then, that's a part of the story as well. This is the Roman. This is very anime. This is the Roman Reigns WrestleMania. This is this is his WrestleMania, really. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, the second guy we haven't talked about, and CM Punk. CM Punk will be on commentary for this World Heavyweight Championship match. Notice I didn't say we're getting away from The Rock, because one thing The Rock has said to Seth, and we're going to bring up the board again here. He said that I'm your boss. I can make you disappear.
You know what's the strange thing about the board stuff is that I felt like I don't know if it's going to come into play a little bit, but initially the whole board stuff, and they haven't returned to this in a while, but after that press conference, Triple H cuts this promo about essentially like, I'm the one who's kind of running things.
Yeah.
And I always felt like maybe they were straying away from it because they didn't really want to cause that power struggle between H and Rock too soon.
Because they can't fight.
Yeah, they essentially can't fight. So you really can't do anything. So the fact that he keeps saying like, I'm your boss and stuff like that, I feel like eventually, I don't know, maybe H comes into play some way. Maybe he represents something along those lines, but that's definitely looming over this match. But I also feel like how much do you think CM Punk plays a role in this match?
So I want to give credit to Drew and Seth especially, but Punk as well. Like, they've managed to carve out a significance for this match and this title that I didn't think would exist when The Rock was running him down, when he was fourth fiddle at that press conference, when it was just like he had kind of become a joke, and it was like, it's fine, he can exist without this, but he picked it up, and then Drew obviously did as well, and made this matter in a way that I didn't think it was gonna. So credit to them and credit to Punk. I thought Punk was gonna do more, and then he told the crowd, like, I'm not gonna ref, like shut up, basically.
How do you feel about his return thus far? Because I know we've been the excitement that we've had considering about Punk's,
kind of like I love Punk. I'm a Punk stan.
I feel you.
And it sucks that he's got hurt. I do think there's some truth to what Drew's been saying. Like, you are older and you keep getting hurt, like in doing wrestling shit. Like, you're not. It's not these like freak injuries. Like, you're getting hurt doing wrestling shit. So that sucks. And that's kind of like the B+ player speech, right?
Yeah.
But I think he's been great with the moments he's got. I thought he was great in the Rumble. You know what I mean?
I think he's low key like the secret draw of everything going on.
No, and the thing is, he's like on the cusp of the great heel turn. Like, he has to be, right? Like, he's getting cheers because we're excited he's back, but he can be the guy that can be like the douchebag heel at some point.
That's got to happen down the line, though. That's got to happen like year 2, 3-ish. I think he
has to be in the ring, though, too, is the whole thing.
I think you got to get out the way a lot of those matches that people want to see. Right. But I think that you also have to put the puzzle pieces in place where other people aren't where they're at. Like, I think there's some meat on the bone to Cody. So yeah, he could turn heel for that. He could turn heel there.
What I wonder about him is because he makes sense with so many guys. He keeps calling everybody out. Everybody from Roman down to
Rock.
He's a carny, bro. He's a super carny.
and like, but it's like he can't wrestle them all, right? And he's at the age he's at too. He also can't wrestle them all. So I'm very curious to see what his workload will be when he does come back and how they do use him. I think he's obviously going straight into whatever he's going to do with Drew, probably maybe for this title. But what I wonder about Punk, because you always wonder this about Punk, how is he going to be with jobbing to all these guys for that long? Or how do you keep him a threat? Because he can't just show up and beat Roman. That's not the point of Punk.
Let's name names here. Of people I think Punk would realistically lose to. I don't think he'll lose to Drew.
I think he would have beat Seth. I think that would have been.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, Seth ain't supposed to have that title right now. I think that's really what it is. Even when talking in the context of this match, Seth was been supposed to lost this title. Punk came back, and that gave him a couple extra months with this title. Let's be real. I think that fucked Damian over too. Punk coming back.
So real quick, yes or no? It doesn't have to be a deep combo. Do you believe their animosity, Punk and Seth?
No.
I think Punk and Drew are laughing their asses off. I think there might be a little something with Seth, though.
I think Seth is just kind of crabby at times. Like, I think he's
takes it really serious.
Yeah, he takes it very, very seriously, and it's like, to be honest, it's like rappers where they take themselves very, very seriously and get offended by a lot of things, even just like stray critiques and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also, he holds himself in a high regard as well. but he still has that chip on his shoulder. It's like I don't believe it to an extent. I don't believe it even more now. I think he's gonna say, I do what's best for business, and whatever makes money, and that's what he's gonna do.
Becky's brought this up in one of her interviews that Seth felt blindsided, and this was actually something that ironically,
the Ariel Helwani one,
this is something that we heard in our Discord as well, that the Punk signing was a blindside to everybody, not just Seth. Nobody knew that he was coming other than like H and a couple of people. So like Becky confirming that was pretty cool, but also saying that, you know, Seth does a lot and he kind of deserved to know about that, knowing that there's a lot of people in our locker room that have bad relationships with him. KO is someone, Seth is somebody.
But wrestlers are the first people wrestlers are the leaguers.
I was kind of shocked she said that, because I'm like, that's not typical. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't really want to, if you want to keep a secret, if you want to make a moment of surprise, you don't tell wrestlers.
Just standing up for her, man, which I get, but I was like, I wouldn't have told Seth Rollins.
I wouldn't have told Seth Rollins either.
But you notice Seth goes immediately into Carney mode at Survivor Series. He starts saying, fuck you, He does that because it got a moment. And I'm pretty sure he went back to Gorilla and said, H, we got to talk, bring Punk too. But I just made a program right there because that's what y'all was doing anyway.
He's working.
And I think that ultimately, I mean, the kid's got a kid. You know what I'm saying? Guy's got a kid. He's got a wife. All that shit happened when he was in like ROH and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That happened way, way back in the day. I think they do laugh about it. I think that ultimately the three of them even being in this program is a lot of full circle moments coming to fruition in a lot of ways. Seth being at Mania with the title, Punk being at Mania period, and Drew being in this position again in order to, in my eyes, rightfully earn the championship at this event. Like, I think that Drew has earned it, and I think in terms of where Punk is gonna play a part, I think it's about who can't keep their eyes off of him the most. Is it going to be Seth that can't keep his eyes off Punk the most? Is Seth even in the right state of mind? But also, we saw Drew talking to Paul Heyman. We saw Drew helping out the Bloodline. The Bloodline for sure is about to fuck this up. It ain't going to be Punk. The Bloodline. Punk can't do anything. I feel like the Bloodline will cost Seth this, and I think Drew will win the title, and that gives Seth more fire to come out and get his revenge later on in the night and on night 2.
That's interesting because while that is looming, I feel like the better way is, so what I'm going to choose in terms of my predictions for this match is that Seth Rollins is actually going to retain.
Wow.
Because one, that briefcase is still around.
Okay.
2, I feel like the heat on Drew isn't high enough. And I feel like we're getting I know. But I feel like we're getting closer to him getting. I think if you put it on Drew now, you have to essentially like hold it all the way until SummerSlam. And that probably kills what's his face's briefcase.
Okay. Damien.
Because we're building towards Drew versus Punk. I think if Drew can take advantage of, I'm thinking more Edge. You know what I'm saying? This reminds me of like Ultimate Opportunist Edge kind of thing. I feel like Drew squirms his way eventually in getting the world title later, so they can set up that Punk match a little bit later on after the fact, without it being like, oh, all right, we got to do this now, and then he's got to lose to Damien, and then I guess it's just Punk Drew without the title, maybe. But I feel like.
But I feel like you're right though, because Punk says, "You took my Mania from me, I'll take your title from you." I think that's the story right there.
I think I'm hanging on the same 2 threads as you. Like, I think Money in the Bank gets cashed in, and there's like the wackiest version of this where it gets cashed in on Sunday. I don't think that happens. I think that would be hilarious. Like, it would piss. What outcome would piss people off the most?
I feel like Raw Mania is the best time for Damien to do it. There's so much.
It would take a lot of the air out the room if it did it at Mania itself.
Yeah, well, it's happened. I mean, we've ended a Mania with one of these guys with the.
If it was ending it, well, I don't know. Maybe Mania does end with it. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what would piss people off the most? That if he strolls down the ring and he takes Cody's title after Cody gets. But I that's the thread I hang on with this match, and the Punk is the other one. And what I hang on there is. We don't know how healthy he is. They do. They do know how close he is coming back.
Yeah.
So like if they're ready for that program, yeah, he interferes here, and he does the Kevin Nash with the cast, and he's better than we thought.
Yeah.
But if he's just not ready, we might just get a clean finish, or we might get him a quick distraction or whatever. But I don't think Seth retains, though. I think they're ready, to get that off him, and whether Drew is ready or he's got enough heat right now or not, it's reset season. So I do think he wins, but I do think with that cash in soon, whether it works or not, with Priest cashing in soon, because like that shit has just been out there doing nothing for months.
And Priest has been floating too, and I feel like to a certain extent, the Judgment Day needs a shakeup as well. Like you said, reset. They really do need a reset. I think after this, something needs to happen with Rhea. Something needs to happen with Damian. I think that there needs to be a shakeup of that group in general. I think that this iteration has been great for the past year, but if Raw going forward could potentially have new players on it in new roles after Mania, and there could be losing someone after Mania, and they need to have somebody that's set there. And if you want to make Damian kind of like your number 3, either heel or baby face, you gotta pop him off very soon.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They had that stretch, couple months there where this Raw was their show for the most part. But now it is time to move on, and I don't know if it's a full breakup. They've even had their little infighting a while back too,
and they dropped it.
Yeah, and it's like, and it just went like that. So, I think something's coming with that Money in the Bank soon. It has to, right? Basically, it can't go too much further. He just doesn't fit with either of these storylines, so it literally has to be him nudging his nose into it and just making it about him. And that sucks in a sense, because I think he's really good. I think he deserves a chance to have a run, but that's also died down a little bit from this time 6 months ago, right? When they're all like, man, he might could main event something, but
they are going back to Puerto Rico in May, I believe, for a Raw, I believe. So that there could be meat on the bone there.
I feel like you'll be champion before that. Because I feel like you'll enter Puerto Rico with that championship. But I feel like, I'll just say this, I think for Drew being inserted into this program when he wasn't supposed to be there, he's done an amazing job. Like, this is a believable program because of the work that he's done in this, and becoming as smarmy, as becoming as jaded, as becoming as vindictive as he has, because of so many different things that have happened to him, which are real things that happened to him. And just in general, feeling like he never got that moment. Right. So I think he's done a great job in this. I still think when it comes to it, the most interesting part of this will end up being Punk. I think Punk will get involved in the finish of this match. And to me, it makes so much sense if he just costs Drew the match. Like, because I feel like he's going to get involved in this.
Like, he hates Seth, but he hates Seth as like a little brother type.
Yeah, and Drew's the one who cost him the shit. Like,
he's
the one who hurt him.
Yeah, he's the it's gonna be interesting. I think I'm interested to see what turns out from this, but I have a strong feeling, because of what we're about to talk about, Seth will probably retain.
I love that they all came out stronger here. Like, somebody has to take the pin, but they all matter more. And like, that's tough to say because it's Seth Rollins and CM Punk, but they do. They just matter more now, and they can splinter off into so many different things now.
It's a believable story now.
And they're on this card, and Seth's on this card twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, he don't need to ever have no complaint about nothing. He got his man.
He fucking will.
It was supposed to be Punk. Like, and I'm gonna be real. It is a bummer. It is a bummer that Punk doesn't get his main event, but I think that it makes next year's main event stronger. But it's like, damn, is it gonna be in fucking Minnesota? I'm like, come on.
I do think, look, we're gearing up for the Bloodline WrestleMania, but I do think we definitely could be walking out Sunday going, man, that was Seth Rollins' weekend. Like, he fucking lit it up, and two great matches, and he might even be involved in the finish of the match we're talking about now. But we definitely could look back like, yeah, he stole the show. Absolutely.
So we're here again.
Last year we talked about Roman Cody, and it's like, Roman has to lose, right? Like he has to lose, right?
Like,
that don't make no sense,
right? Like, so I went to SoFi Stadium. I was there both nights. I saw the adulation and the joy of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens winning that night one, and I said, oh, this is how they do it. You know what happened is that they pulled the wool over our eyes in terms of subverting our expectations. And that is something that Triple H has been able to do very well this year, is subvert our expectations.
Because he did it for a long fucking time himself.
Exactly. Subverting our expectations. You think he's going to zig and he zags on us every single time.
The Rock will win at WrestleMania 2000. No, nigga. Backlash.
I win. I'm the only heel at that time that had ever won, motherfucker. Right. But we had this conversation about why it has to happen next that year, and it was because it's got to happen. He's been champion for so long, and then it doesn't happen. And in this 365 days, Cody has, to me, done the impossible, y'all. He's done the impossible. He's lost, and when I came out of that match on night 2 last year, I called Meals and I said, I'm gonna be real with you, Meals. We were confused, but I'm gonna be real with you. I said, I keep hearing these people sing his song. I keep hearing these people say they're going to be back next year, and he's going to be back next year. And I told Mills, I don't think this is going to hurt him at all. I think they're going to be pissed, but I don't think it's going to hurt Cody.
And I was mad you bought into that shit. I was like, no, this is terrible. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, another year?
Mills can attest. We were mad, and then 2 minutes later, I'm walking to the car, Bands, and I'm like, bro, but for real though, Mills, they're singing his song right now because they played his song out. They played his song. They weren't playing Roman's song out for the crowd when they were walking out. They were playing Cody's song out as the let out, and people were still hitting the whoa because I said, you know what? They believe in this guy so much, and I say that he's done the impossible because if this was Seth Rollins, if this was Drew McIntyre, if this was anybody, they would have been moved to the fucking side by now. I think that in a very rare moment, the fans were allowed to really make the decision on where they want this to go, which leads us to Cody winning the Royal Rumble for a second time. I jumped out of my seat and said, this motherfucker did it again.
Yeah. Only a few people have done it. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan.
No one's done this.
Yeah.
2 times and consecutively, by the way. That history is on his side, I say. History is on his side this year in a way that history has never been on anyone's side other than Steve Austin in my fucking life. In my 37 years of living, there has never been history on a nigga side this much, not even on Obama's side. That's history on the nigga side this much. This is crazy. This dude has the campaign, the Cody campaign is what I call it. And I think that when you lead into Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, part 2, and I'm going to just say it right now, Bloodline rules. This is about to be a fucking movie. Win or lose. It's about to be a fucking movie.
What you just said is what scares me about this. And which weirdly makes it unpredictable to me. It's so much history on his side. Like, everything says Cody has to win. It did last year too, but like, it's even more now. And I'm like, can't they just do it again?
If he gets pinned on the night before the damn match, Bands, and all the odds are stacked against him, but he's got Seth, he's got Jay, he could potentially have Jimmy, he could potentially have Jimmy and Solo. We talked about this on the previous segment. Jimmy and Jay's match has more implications for this match than a lot of people are recognizing. Because if Jimmy can recognize that he actually does need his brother and he can do this away from Roman and they could be at WrestleMania together without him, that's more proof to say that Jimmy could turn again. Like I feel like there's going to be several twists and turns in Bloodline rules. But I think that it's the Cody team right now is uneven. And a lot of people are saying, who's the last person, right?
This is the guys from that truck.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's so stacked against him. So it's like
I don't know why Stone Cold Steve Austin would show up.
I hate it. Yo, shout out to the Discord, but I was disgusted at that idea. I would be so mad.
I was like, why would Stone Cold? This is not even about him.
There. I love Stone Cold. I think Stone Cold's the GOAT. So
if he shows up, it's fire.
Nothing more in my life than to see Stone Cold wrestle. When he wrestled KO, that was one of my greatest WrestleMania moments ever. Like the idea of him and Punk was like enough to get me to watch. But there's no reason for him to be here.
Exactly.
So what I was gonna say was there's 2 outcomes here, and they're both equally like devastating. One is that he wins. Like he wins
How is
this
that
match
devastating?
against all the odds, and he breaks up the bloodline, and he's like, he did it, he proved it. And my only thing about that is it's not an original point at all. It's like I don't know where he goes from there. I guess Roman will want to get his lick back, but I don't exactly know where he goes from there.
I do.
But my other option, like my nuclear option, because I want to hear what you think he does next. Him just getting stomped out and losing would just be like so devastating. Like he just gets pinned,
and I tell
like,
you, Bands,
that's it.
I'll tell you, Bands. There is nobody else. There is nobody else. People can fucking say it's Punk. There's literally nobody.
That's the problem, and that's why he kind of has to win. It can't be Punk. It can't be Rock. It can't be. You know what I mean?
Those record numbers that they're seeing right now, the record attendance, the record, all of that shit. There is one common denominator, and that nigga is on every single one of those shows. It's him and Roman.
The outcome I wanted really bad. I don't think we're gonna get this, but I think there was a point where this could have been where it went. Is he has to win so bad that he goes stone cold at 17, and he turns and he flips, and now they do it.
Right. Man, I will strangle you.
I wanted that really bad, and like. Just him losing it and just like I have to win. I'm gonna go heel.
But they lose their biggest baby face, and who is their baby face then?
Yeah, he's
one of their biggest. Like draws. I wanted that because to me that was like the most devious and like wrestling finish.
Chaos.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what.
No, and that's why you're asking.
Better as that too.
Is it possible that Roman wins? And to be honest with you, I do think it's possible.
I think it is. I think it's way more likely,
but it's not probable. It's possible, but
and so that's what I don't know. I said earlier. I had a question for y'all, and it was like, I think we all think Cody will win, but my question is, should he? Like they've opened up this to a new thing, and like, should he for all of the reasons we're talking about
now? I'll say short answer, yes. Right? He should win because, to be honest with you, I think the future of the company, and this is very like dramatic, but I think the future of the company does depend on Cody winning this. You need that next guy. Mm-hmm. You need someone who, even if Cody wins the title and does that Roman schedule, you at least have another person who's going to draw for your television, draw for your shows. The numbers, all the metrics favor Cody. Mm-hmm. He has sold merch. He has sold seats. He has maintained ratings on Raw. He has done all the metrics are in his favor.
Most played character in the video game.
Most played character in a fucking video game. However, there's a tiny part of me that I'm like, if Roman wins, and I'm just thinking of the universe where Roman wins, right? It's not an improbable universe that Roman wins. He's won a lot.
A month ago, I would say it was impossible. Now, like what they've kept doing, I'm like, I could see it.
Are their dicks so hard for Roman and Rock that they would do this? Like,
yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's why. I think that's the number one reason why
they were like, we'll do it next year. Yeah, but I would be.
But you guys are forgetting one stipulation, by the way.
Okay.
If Cody loses, he can never do it again.
Yeah, that's
it off Rock.
WWE
would you hate the universe where he gets it off Rock?
No, he can never challenge the title ever again.
Oh, yeah. The storyline implications for him going against the Rock would have to eject Roman somewhere out of this entire thing very, very soon. Which means that Rock probably beats his ass and steals his stable. And yeah, there's a Cody versus Rock match there. And I think it's just better if Rock pins Cody the first night and then you have Cody win the championship. Then you have this plausible event that the Rock beat your ass before and he'll beat your ass again. And he'll prove that he is the final boss of the bloodline. And then Roman starts looking at him like,
well, he gave Roman a gift, and if Roman fumbles that gift, isn't that a better story?
No, it opens up so much.
I'm just scared, bro.
It opens up for all three of them. Like the Cody match will continue to be there for Rock if they want that. But again, if I give you this gift and then we're ringside, like helping you, you still lose.
Fumble.
dog, I'm the head of the table. Like, enough with quit the bullshit. And then Roman's like, you ain't been here in a decade.
He is a bigger baby face for this company. Roman is, that is, if they allow him to actually have some adversity in his fucking life for once.
Yeah.
But to your question of should Cody win, I look at it as, and to also go back to what's next for Cody, they're going to USA for SmackDown. Mm-hmm. Roman will not realistically be there all the time, if at all, for most of the summertime. Cody then goes to SmackDown. You have Punk, Seth, Drew, the guys that you made on this very show that are now superstars for going up against The Rock on Raw, on Netflix. They can stay there. Cody can face AJ Styles, which has never happened in WWE before. He can face, and that's a Bullet Club tie-in right there. Yeah. And we brought that up in the previous segment. And I truthfully believe that is a great way to go. But you also have Logan Paul on SmackDown as well. There is no shortage of major big-time blockbuster matches that you can have that have not been done yet with Cody at the top on SmackDown. On Raw, you still have CM Punk versus Drew. You still have CM Punk versus Seth. You're set. With the women even, you've got Jade Cargill on SmackDown. It's SmackDown to me will be looked at as a new generation show. Even though it's honestly kind of crazy Cody has skipped he's been there before because he was gone for so long. He's still considered kind of new generation because he's a new character here. Like, he's considered the next generation of the company. And I think that should he win, I think for all intents and purposes, yes, because there is no one left for Roman to beat other than someone who is a part-timer, who, if Rock wins, you are holding up your biggest title to only be defended at Saudi Arabia, SummerSlam, and maybe a off-brand kind of overseas pay-per-view one day. They don't show up to Australia, so I have no doubt in my mind they probably won't show up to Germany either.
Roman don't go overseas.
Yeah, they don't go that
unless
far.
It's Saudi. He doesn't really go overseas at all.
I'm very curious to see how much is tied into the new TV deals, and if they're gonna remain semi-stagnant until then, if they're cool with Roman going away until then, if whatever. I'm very curious to see, and those are conversations they're having. Like, if Roman loses here, it's April. Do we need him back before Netflix? Like, very often, maybe he pops up here and there. So I think that all this plays a part into the decision making. Cody's gonna win. I think he's gonna win triumphantly. It's a year and change in the waiting now.
You want to have, and again, Bans, you don't want to send the fans home unhappy 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
this is a company that has struggled for the past decade to build a believable baby face. They had that with Seth in 2018 or 2019 with The Fiend. They had a strong baby face, and then they fucking ruined them. They had another chance to do that with countless other baby faces, and they fucking ruined it. They did it with Roman as a baby face. They put dog food on him. And after that, he said, you know what? I'm retired. You know what I'm saying? After the COVID, he said, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to come back. They have a chance to really make a guy, but you also have the visual of the locker room spilling out into the ring and holding Cody on their fucking shoulders and having that fucking kind of, triumphant moment that we have
saved the company.
Exactly.
all the Dusty's kids.
There's no hey, low key Dustin might be there on Sunday. If Dustin is there, if Mama Rose is there and Dustin is there, Tony
Mama Rhodes has to be, right? We've been talking about this.
Yeah, man. She might get involved.
Slap the rock.
Claw somebody's eyes out. You know what I'm saying?
Mama
Toss him a belt.
Be there because, again, win or lose, let's just be real. I think I'm gonna fucking love this match on Sunday. I'm gonna love this match. I'll
love it more if he loses, but yeah.
If Cody loses?
No, if Roman loses, I'll love it more.
They have to send them home happy. Like, it's look, you don't get that moment twice. You can't have the ending of the first Endgame twice. Like, you actually have to beat Thanos in the second movie. So, like, he's gonna win. I think the path we take to get there will be very interesting, and then the way the finish happens, because that opens up so many things for the future. I think he's gonna win like pretty clean, like as clean as you can in this type of match. But they'll do enough work before then. There was like, okay, the Rock match can maybe have in a SummerSlam. Okay, this and that, like that type of stuff. But I think when he finally pins him, second time Roman's been pinned in how long? Like, only Jay did it in the tag match, right? Like,
4 years.
It'll be fairly clean, as clean as it can be in a no holds barred, no disqualification, everybody jumps in match.
Does Cody kick out of the super spear? Because that's been my token for a couple of weeks now, is that he's got to kick out of the spear that beat him last year.
Not only do I think he does that, I think he'll kick out of like the rock bottom too. Like I think he'll have like these moments. Yeah. It has to be. You have to build those moments, especially if you're gonna pin him. Especially if the Rock's gonna pin him.
He's talking to Gargano. Like, how'd you do it in Brooklyn? How'd you kick out all that shit in Brooklyn?
Kick out all the finishers, bro. This is the moment. This is kind of what it has. And if you want to send, because I'm assuming Roman's taking a break like after this.
Like, for sure.
That's the other thing. Like, we're not going to see Roman for some time.
I would hate for it to just be like, oh well, damn, another championship down.
I guess the shows will be fun. Like that's literally what we're gonna be talking. I guess the shows will be
fun. Yeah. But no, Cody's going to win. I'm assuming. I'm picturing the universe in my mind where Roman wins, because I don't want to be completely like last year where I was just like, I can't believe this.
Blindsided.
Yeah,
I think
can't believe this is happening
here. I think we got to be safe, and we got to lock it in. We team Lipo. We letting it play out, and we let it play out for a year. He beat Brock. I guess he who shall not be named or whatever, but he beat Brock and got that respect. I think that he's got the cosign from so many people, man. And again, I've never seen a wrestler bounce back from this shit like Cody has, and he has that. Like, for all of the naysayers, there's nothing to naysay. There's nothing to nay anymore. There's nothing to nay. If you want your product to be hot continuing forward, you have to give it to the next hot person.
And it's 40. Like, come on, man. It's 40.
Yeah. I also think with him losing, or with Cody getting the belt, then we have a world where, like, he's not going to hot shot the belt. He has to have it for a while. But we have a world where there's like actual threats to the title. Whereas a lot of these matches, like, Logan Paul made me believe for a split second, but there was no way he's ever winning against Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? So, like, we have like this world where, CM Punk could win a feud versus Cody Rhodes for the belt. Like, sure. And I think you need a little bit of that tension. Like, as much as we love the dominance, and I think history shows that wrestling fans have loved dominance a lot, you do need some tension in there too.
But also, we got to keep in mind, this is Triple H's first full Mania.
Yeah.
No Vince, no dissenting forces, none of that shit. If they're going with his plan B, see it through to the end. See it through to the end. And I guess that's really where we got to stand here in terms of this. I think Cody's going to win. Mills, you think Cody's going to win? Bands, where
Cody's
we at?
Cody's going to win.
It's big. It's a begrudging. That's a begrudging.
It is because, look, like, y'all know, I'm one of those Rock fans. Like, and I thought he was interesting from the moment he popped up on this little comeback. I wanted that match bad. Like, I thought that match would have been electric with Roman. So we wiggled our way into this, but I think
it still can be. By the way,
it still happen.
It still happen.
I think this is, like, again, kind of like they fell into it, but they fell into the best path back to where they wanted to get to from the beginning.
Yeah,
and that's Cody winning, and he has to win against all odds, and he has to take the damn spike, and he has to take all that shit and still win.
I'm saying Cody never even got a crossroads off on Roman, so we don't even know if he can take the finisher yet. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know if Roman never got the crossroads. Before he was about to get the crossroads, he got spiked.
It's one of those things too. Like, he's got to do some shit to win, and it's like a credit to Jesus. It's a credit to everything Roman's done to this point.
Yeah,
like, you can't just do a regular finish to beat him. We got to do some whole.
It's the 3 crossroads. It's the 1, 2. And I think Solo comes up same way that it happened last year, and then from out of nowhere, Mama Rose.
That'd be crazy.
Mama Rose.
Chances on The Rock being involved in the finish in some type of turn?
I think 0. I think 0. I think the big decision is, well, here's the thing that people keep hanging on to. Okay, so I feel like you guys feel about Cody losing the way that I feel about The Rock getting involved in some way and turning on him on Sunday. He did say, I will make sure that you do not walk out the champion or whatever. He said that to Roman, 2 months ago or something like that, right? He said, I will make sure that with all my power that you do not walk out with the championship. That just makes Cody look like such a dweeb.
That's the problem. Is it cheapens Cody?
Such a dweeb that Rock had to do it because, you know what I'm saying? Like, Roman was just so unstoppable. I think Cody wins. Rock tries but fails. I honestly, best way to do it, Cody moves out the way and Rock gets speared.
Yeah.
Best way to do it. Best way to do it. And Rock is the one who takes the super spear. Best way to do it. Cody gets the crossroads and wins because The Rock and Roman, the one thing they haven't gotten to is their egos. And I think that's the story there. And
they
then
had the one bump during the one promo where he grabbed him and all the shit.
Yeah.
And that was it. I thought we would see more of that. They've kind of been separate since then.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe we see it in the ring. Yeah.
I think best way is miscommunication happening before the actual finish next night, or either on Raw or SmackDown. I think you kind of give Raw to Cody on that night just to say bye. I agree, because Cody's realistically going to be gone at that point after that. But I think on SmackDown, Rock says, "You was jealous of me. I tried to help you. I gave you a gift. I gave you a gift." And we don't even know if Roman's cool with this whole thing, this whole tag shit. Like, we don't even know if he's cool with it. But I think that's the best way to do it. You don't want to make your babyface look like an idiot. Like I said, if you're a company that has had trouble building baby faces, and now in your fucking hand you have Cody, Becky Lynch, who else? Fucking Sammy, Chad Gable's a big baby face, Randy Orton, all LA Knight, all these baby faces that are just ripe for the picking. You do not ruin that for one match. You have to give the fans something to believe in, because we're doing it right now. We're so accustomed to the rug being pulled out from under us that we're denying something predictable. We did it with Bianca when we were like, "Oh, she can't win the title back from Becky." We do this so often that at this point,
I mean, they did. I mean, not us particularly.
Yeah, they did. But like, I mean, just
but
the fans
we collectively, yes, but more specifically, not us.
But I'm also the rooting for chaos guy, which is kind of why I want.
Like,
if he wins and has this moment, and Damian Priest clocks him and catches him,
you're laughing.
Like, I would be laughing like the Vince gif. Like, I would be hysterical about that shit. It would just that would piss people off more than Roman winning. Like that's like the worst version of this show, which would be the funniest version to me.
Damian Priest,
0% chance though. No way.
The Damian Priest is becoming the biggest star. I mean, to your credit, Damian, with all the bullshit going on, Damian could cash in and not be part of the match.
Yeah.
and then
that would be messed up.
And that would be fucked. Again, it just makes them all look like dorks. That's why I feel like Seth should probably just lose it and have the bloodline fucking have something to do with it, just so that it could give him more fire to come back at them later, and give Jay more fire to them to come back at it later. Because again, these stories have to intertwine in some way, shape, or form. And I think it makes Drew look like the biggest shit heel to have taken help to beat Seth.
Yeah. Because
he knew he couldn't do it on his own. And that's why I thought earlier that that's what they should do. But we could literally talk about this outcome for so long, but we really gotta live it. And on Sunday, we gotta watch it. And I'm gonna be nervous, and I'm gonna hit the Rock. If Cody wins, I'm hitting the
my goat is giving us so much great content in the last 2 months.
I'm just ready to be done with the 20-minute.
One of these? We doing one of these?
I'm done with this. I'm done with all of this shit. After, like Mark said, I want to call Mark, because like Mark said, after Sunday, hell is over. The hell is over. We are free.
Yo, shout out to the Discord for making it so easy to save all these videos, because whoever clipped the clip of him saying, "Go home and smoke some more crack," you're just like my best friend. I use that shit like every day.
But listen, we got to live this. And I want to say that, you know, we're all going to be watching this, of course, on bated breath, trying to figure out what's going to be what. But before we get out of here, I want to thank Bans once again for sitting with us, shooting the shit, getting us through this big time. Again, honestly, in our lifetimes, we've never seen a bigger main event lineup than this.
I think it's the biggest, and it's like that's going up against everything. I'm 38, so I've been watching this shit since forever, and it's like, you know, I remember how important Rock versus Austin felt. I remember how important Taker and Shawn felt. Like, and this is especially because they've managed to stretch it for 2 nights and make it 2 matches, and guys are doing double duty
in 2 years too.
It's like, and credit to those guys, like, to work both nights under that pressure, and these are probably going to be fairly lengthy matches, especially Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a credit to them and to their willingness to even do that, because you could see guys like it's tough to turn down that at WrestleMania, but shit, that's a lot of bumps. There's a lot of bumps for these dudes, and I hope we get great matches out of it. I think we will. I think it's set up to have great matches. The 3 matches that we talked about, you know, tag matches like this, and then you got the guy who's definitely has no gas.
Yeah,
they could go 100 ways, but I think we're gonna get great electric matches, and that's what we're supposed to get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we still got Sammy versus Gunther that we talked about on the show today. We've got so many matches that could realistically, I mean, even if those end up being weak, those could steal the show. You know what I'm saying? Becky and Rhea could steal the show. So again, this is a stellar card, top to bottom, to me. I think that Triple H has done a really great job, and I can't wait to watch it. So for everyone listening, thank you for listening to this long ass show of the our WrestleMania prediction party happening again. Thank you guys so much for being patient, and this is like our biggest show of the year every year. So again, I hope that we have lived up to the stature that this show has created over the past couple of years. So for Meals, for Bands, I am Justin. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Win or lose, we're gonna have to talk about. So we look forward to telling you guys all about what happens next week on the show. See you guys later. Peace.